Good morning, everyone. This is Lori Lytle with Mortgage Code Support. And if you're new to the call, if you open up your question box, if you have any questions through this process, go ahead and type it in there. And as I'm going through the screen, so I'll go ahead and stop and answer questions along the way. What we're going to do today is we're going to create a report, and we're going to show 4 different MI options. We're going to create a report that has an FHA loan that shows the MI for the life of the loan. We're going to show a conventional with monthly MI. Then we're going to show lender paid MI, and then a single MI premium financed in. So we'll go through this process, and then when we're done, you'll be able to see the various MI effects on mortgage loans. Okay, to get started, go ahead and press New Client to start your report. And as we're going through here, I'm going to key in the information, but also show you just the basic information to create a report. So when you come into Edge, the first screen is your client information. You'll also be seeing fields that are in red. Those are fields that we need for the report, so make sure you fill out the fields that are in red here. So you go through and you can put in the first name, last name. But what I'm going to do on this report, I'm going to go ahead and make it a marketing. So the difference between these 2 buttons is just by clicking on it, you have one report headline versus the full name, first name, last name. So I'm going to call this Keep, whoops, got to spell that right, MI in your pocket. And in my friendly name field, this is where you could go ahead and put in a reference to this particular loan. That's what the friendly name field means. And showing, I'm just going to put in showing options. And also, this is a new feature here, the partner email. If you're working with a partner on a particular property and you want them to receive email alerts, go ahead and put in their email address in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in support@mortgagecoach.com. And then I'll show you at the very end of the screen how this will carry over, and you'll have the option to be able to email this report to the partner if you choose to. Okay, we're going to go ahead and advance our screen. I'm doing a purchase loan. In this screen, it's just if you're doing a refinance, you want to go ahead and mark it as lower the interest rate for a refinance. That way you'll get the current mortgage screen. Moving on, you key in the property value here. But again, on a purchase loans, you also have that option to do it in the products. So I went ahead and keyed in that amount. Okay, Dennis, I'll show you how the mobile app works after we're done here. So, and then moving on. You have information in this area. You don't have to. You notice they're not in red. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and put in an amount here just to be able to show you where it will apply onto the report in our reinvestment strategy screen. This is how much for their savings balance and what their rate of return is for that particular account. So key that information in. If you are showing a tax bracket, you could go ahead and put in their tax bracket. If you're unsure, click on that button here, and it will be able to provide you a new web page, and you'll be able to find your tax bracket through the federal government site here. We also have the MCC credit that you'll be able to apply if you have that for your loans also. Okay, and moving on. Again, if you're working on the phone and want to capture this information, go ahead and you could do that, and you'll have it in your files for that particular borrower. And now what we're going to do is start our mortgage products. So the first product I want to show is our FHA loan. So I'm going to go ahead and just put up here, FHA. Coming through, it's not a refinance, so I'm keeping it no. If you have product templates set up, we covered this a couple weeks ago, you could go ahead and choose your product template in this area here, and you'll see that I have a product template for a 60-month on the older way of having MI shown, or for the life of the loan. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my product template here. And I have it set up. I do have it set up with 3.5% down, which is the norm for people when they're doing FHA loans. But in this particular scenario, because I want to keep things apples to apples, I'm going to go ahead and put it as 5% down. And then I'm going to key in my interest rate, and then my loan term already is defaulted in. So once you have this information in, move on to the next screen. And I did have my closing cost details populated with my product code, and that's, or my product template, and all that information defaulted in here. So first I want to go ahead and put in my upfront premium here, my MI factor, and then I want to add that amount to the loan amount. So make sure you have that box marked. I'm also wanting to show 15 days per diem interest, so I'm going to go ahead and key that in. Also, if you hover your mouse over that field, you'll notice it will show also that dollar amount. So let's go into our closing cost details, and I'll be able to show you how my fee template went ahead and pulled down. So what you would do is, if you have product templates, you could go ahead and create them in this area here. I'll also show you how to create a product template really quick through your data input on an Edge account. So I have all my fees listed. If I wanted to add a fee, I could go ahead and press Add a Fee button. We have a drop down that follows pretty much the HUD-1 fee descriptions. So you'll be able to identify your fee. So if I had a processing, I type P and it drops me down to that area of the account. And then you would just put in your dollar amount. You also have the option to be able to choose if the borrower, lender, or seller are paying that fee. And then if it's an APR fee, you want to make sure you mark that box as an APR item. If you're unsure what fees are APR and what are not, then go ahead, and the best way to do it is pull a fee cost sheet from your origination system. You want a form that basically will tell you what the fee descriptions are, dollar amounts, and if the fee is an APR fee or not. Okay, let me stop for a moment. Let me check some questions out. Just one moment. Okay, Dennis, I'll show you quickly at the end how to create a product template with this what I've created here. It's actually quite simple. I'll be able to show you how. And Jack, yes, there's more ways of putting in templates, fees, and product templates. And again, after I go through setting up the scenario, we'll set up some templates through our report here, and then I'll show you how to modify that and then create more as on the way. And then, yes, Kim, when we get to the analysis screen, we'll cover the net worth and things like that. So, okay. So once you've put in all your fees, just keep, put them in based on your guidelines. You also have the reserves that you could put in, same with your taxes. Say you don't want to be able to have our particular label of tax reserves or any kind of fee if you don't see it. You just go to the Add Custom Fee. You can put in your own description of that fee. You want to mark it as an APR, or if it's a prepaid item. What the prepaid is for escrowed items, reserves, things like that. So it's a prepaid escrow. So you want to make sure you identify, whoops, don't have my rate watch off. Go ahead and mark those items when you create those new fees. And I'll also be able to show you when we go in our template screen how you can modify those fees also. So once you've created your template here, if you're in Edge for the first time and you want to be able to save this template so you don't have to keep working with it or keep creating it each time, go ahead and press Save Template, Save as Template, and you can name it as a new name. So I'm just going to say, so you'll be able to see this in the list, Q&A template. You can go ahead and identify it if you're working in multiple states and you want different fee templates set up that way. You could go ahead and identify it by state also. So once I'm done, I would just press OK, and now that template has been saved. Whoops, I also spelled it wrong. And then you'll also see now that that fee template is in your drop-downs for future use. Again, when we go into our settings account and go into our product templates, you'll be able to see how you can modify those templates. If the fees change and you want to update them, you'll be able to do that in your settings area. So once you're done, you'll see that you have the fees over in this area and the per diem interest also displays. Once you're completed with your fees, you go ahead and apply it to the loan. What it will do is total all the APR fees and put it in that area, as well as the prepaid escrows, non-APRs, and if you had a contribution, it would go in this area. Advancing our screen, now we want to go ahead and put in our monthly costs. And what I have with my product template, I already have the mortgage insurance defaulted. So I have the 1.35 as well as the 360 for the cutoff. So this is taking it for the life of the loan. And you want to make sure on an FHA loan that you do have the box marked calculate MI on balance. And this will go ahead and provide the FHA calculation where the MI is recasting at the end of each year on the average balance. So those 3 items you want to make sure you have for the FHA loan. And let's go ahead and put in our hazard insurance. You can key it in as a dollar amount, and then when you see these fields here, it just switches to the percentage or the dollar figure. So I'm just going to go ahead and put an estimated amount in. So I'm putting 0.35 for my hazard insurance, and I'm putting 1.25 in for my taxes. And if you've been into Edge, you'll notice that we have another field here. This is for if you have a different particular impound that you want to be able to show, wind or storm. And it can also be used if you're doing debt consolidation where they're paying off, say, a car loan. You can always put in here car payment and put in that amount. And then when you can put it in, it will show on the report. If you're showing a lien that had paid off, cash out and paid off that car payment, you would then remove that amount. So this is a new field that we have in Edge where you could go ahead and identify that amount in that field here. Okay, so now we're done with our FHA product and we have it sitting over here. What you can do, there's 2 ways of saving the template. We've already done a fee template, but if you want to save this product template so we can make sure we capture this information here, go ahead and save as a template. And I'm going to go ahead and just put QA in front of it so I can identify what I'm working on here. And then I'll put in FHA. I'll press OK, and then when we're done with our report, we'll go back into the settings and we'll take a look at our product template as well as the fee template we created, so you'll be able to know how you can then take it and modify those templates we created. Okay. Now we want to add another product, so we're going to go ahead and click on add another product, and we're going to do this process all over again, and we're going to do it for a conventional showing mortgage insurance. So let's go ahead and put in, I'm just going to label this as monthly MI. And the first time through, we did choose a product template. You'll see that the template I had just created is listed in that item right here. But I'm also going to show you how to be able to do that without using templates too. So you could just key in the amount here. I'm going to go ahead and put 5% down. And then in my interest rate here, I'm going to put 5.5% and my term. So we have all our information defaulted here, or keyed in here, and advancing the screens. And now I have a blank fee screen here. So what you could do is now go to your closing cost details, use that template, and I'm going to use the one I just created right here. And it populates all that fees that we had in that template and bring it down. So if there's any items you need to change, that's when you go ahead and change it. When I create fee templates, I leave any variable item empty. So in this particular case, it would have been shown up for my reserves as these figures here. So I would just come in and put in my figures and be done. So do it that way. If for some reason you don't have a fee, all you have to do, like in this processing, I have it as a 0, you press the trash can and it removes it from the report. So if you create a fee template, you can put quite a few fees in there, and if they don't apply to the loan, that's fine. You just go ahead and remove it. But it's easier to have them in there and remove it versus having to keep adding the fees. So that's one option that you'll be able to have. Again, you could save this as a template if something changed on this particular loan. So this is a good way of creating an Edge report as well as creating your fee templates at the same time. So in this particular case, I'm not going to create a template. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that information to the loan. And let's go ahead and put in our 15 days per diem interest, and we have that there. Moving to our monthly costs, let's go ahead and put in that 0.35 for our hazard insurance, 1.25 for our taxes. And now for my MI, I'm going to go ahead and put in 0.97 as my MI factor, and you'll see how the system calculates that monthly amount for you. And we have our MI cutoff percentage at 78%. We're going to leave the box marked because we do not want the MI recasting at the end of each year. And if you do have an MI cutoff for the conventional MI, you could go ahead and put it in here. I've had a lot of people put in the 24 months minimum that they have, Either way, what it will do is say minimum of 24 months, and then once it reaches 78, then go ahead and cut off that MI. Now we're going to go ahead and create our second product, or third product actually, and this is going to be lender paid MI. So let's go ahead and just put in my description for lender paid MI. And in this particular case, we've showed you how to copy from templates, but basically my lender paid MI is very similar to my conventional loan, and I just want to modify it slightly. So I'm going to use my copy from button. And what that does is allow you to copy from a specific product you have already created in this report. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my monthly MI and then press OK. So I still am going to keep my 5% down, but I'm going to increase that rate because the lender's paying for that mortgage insurance, which means that you're increasing interest rate. So I'm going to put it at 5.5%. My term is 360. My fees are already rolled over. If you need to make any changes to the fees, again, just click on the closing cost detail, make your modifications, and then apply it to the loan. Okay. Now we're moving on, and by copying from that product, I have all my information already populated, but I do want to remove that monthly MI here. So you could go ahead and press delete, and that will remove it from the report. You can, if you want to, remove these fields, but because there's no dollar amount here, these fields, the MI cut off and the percentage are ignored. So you could leave it in that area. And now we're going to add our last product here. This particular case, I'm going to call this one single MI premium. I'm going to go ahead and copy it again from my lender paid MI, or actually my monthly MI, because I'll have the same rate. So I'll go ahead and do that here and then press OK. So you can see how when creating one product, it's very simple. You have multiple ways of using either templates to create the next products or using that copy from feature. So you'll be able to, again, the whole point is to be able to type in less and less data each time. So using those two features will make you move through Edge quicker. With the single MI premium that I'm going to finance or provide, I'm going to go ahead and mark it as yes to my FHA. And the reason for this is it brings up in our next screen the upfront MI field. And nowhere on the reports it will be marking FHA. That toggle just controls this field right here. So let's go ahead and put in my 2% for my upfront MI. And I'm going to go ahead, you can add it to the loan amount in this area. If they're going to pay it at close, you could go ahead and leave that box unmarked here. And again, like all the other products, if my fees change for some reason for this particular product, go in and make your modifications, and then make sure you apply it to the loan. Okay, so now we have all four products, and you'll see they're all listed up here in the graph. And you also have the titles down here, so you'll be able to quickly identify if you want to be able to keep the same consistency in your name title. You can refer to this area so you can see what the other products were called. Okay, so once we're done here, let's move on to our monthly costs. Again, because we did use that copy, we went ahead and all that data rolled over. And I'm going to, again, remove my MI here. So go ahead and delete that, because I just financed it in to the loan on the previous screen. So now once we're done with the four products, I do not have another button saying add products because our limit is 4. And so now we're completed. So now what we want to do is go and be able to modify the report to show the consumer what we want to show them. Once we're in the analysis screen, you'll be able to show the borrower the total principal paid, the total net worth, or the total interest and mortgage insurance paid on the loan. You can tell just in here, FHA has the highest interest that's being paid, as well as mortgage insurance. And then you can see the various loans here and do the comparison. And when we get to the report, we'll look more closely at that single premium that was financed. What I want to do also is show you the short-term analysis months. You can change it. Right now, the short-term area right here is showing 5 years. If you know you want to show 10 years, go ahead and put that 120 in there. You'll be able to show them that aspect. That number is variable in the system, so if you're talking to the borrower, if they going to be moving at a particular time, you can put that information right there. If they're going to be moving in 7 years, you can put 84 months, that type of thing. It's there for you to be able to modify. Same with the long term. I'm currently showing 15 years. If you wanted to show over the life of the loan, you could go ahead and show the 30-year and be able to show exactly how much interest and mortgage insurance are being paid on all those loans. So let's go ahead and move this back to 15, and I'm keeping it as a 5-year. Also, with the benchmarks, I just wanted to bring your attention to this. What we do is automatically point to the highest default product, which in this particular case is our FHA loan. If for some reason we wanted to show a different particular matrix, so you could go ahead and choose that, and you'll see, this is the product we have, and this is showing how much more the red graphs are, with the negative amount, and how much more the payment is over that single premium. So you do have your benchmarks that you'll be able to change. If you're doing a refinance, there will have one that will be listed here as current. Definitely select it as the current mortgage. If you're doing a shorter term loan, the highest default payment most likely would be that 15-year loan. So make sure you come to this area here on your benchmarks and be able to change that to current mortgage. Now what I want to do is go into our reinvestment strategy screen. Okay, in this area, what you'll be able to see is the FHA is the highest payment. You have $1789.33. Since that's the highest payment, what we want to do is show all the products using that same amount and reinvesting the difference. So in this particular case, on the monthly MI, the difference in that payment is $60.63. What I'm going to do is come down here, and in my investment balance, I'm going to go ahead and put in a rate of return that they could get on a particular account, 2%, 4%, whatever you can get. I've seen a lot of people put 4% in this area. And then in the payment area, what I'm going to do is you can key that amount in as I'm showing you. So then what will happen is each month that $60, that difference is going into their savings account. But I'm going to double click on that field, which opens up into a pop-out. And what I want to do is, besides doing that $60 each month in their savings, I also want to be able to reinvest their mortgage insurance back into the loan once it has dropped off. And what you'll see at the base here is that at the 112th month, the mortgage insurance is dropped from the loan. So what I'll want to do is go ahead and add a new line item, and then I'm going to say at month 121, I'm going to add, sorry guys, I can't add in my head, I have to add this separately, 98. I'm going to put $252.61 in here. What that amount is equal to is the savings of the 60 plus the $191.98. So again, we're keeping that payment consistent to that FHA loan by being able to put that information in here, and then when we get to our report, we'll be able to show you also about the freedom point by reinvesting that same amount of money that you're paying on that FHA loan. So I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And you'll also see at the end of 15 years, by doing that, they'll, in their investment account, they'll have $24,000 accrued. So let's go do the same with our lender paid MI. If I double click on that, you'll see that we don't have any monthly, so we don't have to go ahead and reinvest that. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel and then put in that $107.49 difference in that payment down in this area. I could put it directly in. And then with the single MI premium, it's $228, and let's go ahead and put that amount in this section right here. Okay, so right now what we're doing is we have each product showing a payment being made toward the loan of $1789.33. Okay, I'm going to press OK. Yes, Justice, you can, how I did the custom, you could do the exact same thing up here so they can show the freedom point. You would just go ahead and put the 112 months in and then the amount. You're also able just to be able to show you if you're doing a purchase, they haven't sold a loan or sold their current house, and they know that they're going to have $100,000 as soon as they sell it. So, they anticipate that they're going to sell it within a year, and they want to add that additional $100,000 to the principal. they could do that. And then what you need to do afterwards is on month 13, you need to also put a 0. And this way, it's not going to do 100,000 each month. You have to clear it out and let the system know that, okay, do this once and then do 0, no more applying after that period of time. So both ways of doing it, you could do both of this in the investment area as well as applying it to principal. And Jimmy, no, we tested it the 113 months. You could go ahead, and we actually are telling you at the 112 months when you go through here. This is actually the month you need to start that reinvestment process. It's already dropped at this point. Okay. So once we're done here, you have both the reduction up in for the principal, but in this particular case, I am showing it going back into investment account and building wealth. And this area here, when you provide it, this is great to be able to show the net worth on your report. So you can show them the net worth by keeping that same payment and increasing their savings account and their wealth up that way. So let's go ahead and press OK. Before I move on, let me just check the questions again. Okay. So now that we've applied that information, I'm going to go ahead and just show you really quick on net worth. So it did increase that information here, or the data here, and you still see the single premium is the better option so far. So I want to go ahead and put it back on total interest so we could look at the report and be able to explain a little bit more on this area here. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Contact information. If you have a co-borrower, you could put it here. In this particular case, I'm doing a marketing report. This information doesn't appear on the report, so it's just for your data only, your purpose to have all the data within Edge. If you know the property address, you want to be able to put it on the report, you could go ahead and key it in here. You can also put to be determined if you want to be able to show it, or just leave it blank in the case I'm doing here for my marketing report. I have our, in the presentation screen, we're going to go ahead and we're producing a total cost analysis. If you want to check on an amortization schedule, you could go ahead and mark it here just to be able to show you how that works. You just advance the screen, choose which one you want to be able to see, and then it will preview the amortization on the screen here. So let's go ahead, Jimmy, and let's just confirm. Oh yeah, that's the wrong loan. This one goes for the life of loan, just to be able to show you how the mortgage insurance does decrease, and by the end of the last year of the loan, they're only paying $15.69 in MI. So I thought I'd be able to show you that. So I'm canceling it. You can export it. If you saw that, it will export. You can put it on your desktop. It's in a CSV file that you can use with Excel. So we have that information. You'll notice down here, if for some reason you don't want to show a particular product, say you don't want to show that FHA, if you uncheck that, only these 3 products will show on your report. And lastly on the screen is the payment notes, and this is an important area that you want to be able to make sure that you fill out. What this will do is provide double asterisks next to your payments on the report, and then it, you would put in, let's see, taxes and insurance. Sorry guys, can't talk and type out. Okay, so what I have done is I did include my taxes and insurance in these reports. So you want to be able to identify that. It is a compliance piece. You should always be able to put that information in here. If you're not including it, just say, are not included. So that way the consumer knows. The whole thing with an Edge report is you're help educating that consumer. And this is one way of showing them what's included and what's not. And it's right there on the face of the report. So make sure you start working with this one. In just one moment, I'm checking my screen. Okay, Nyla, you were talking about if invest any additional down payment versus paying down the loan. I'm not quite sure. You could put any additional investment in that reinvestment matrix. If you can explain that a little more, or just email us the support and I'll be able to help you a little more detailed finding out what your question is, and then I'll be able to answer it that way also. Okay, let's move on. What we're doing now is this section here, you'll be able to, these next three screens, it's showing you the graph of each of the areas on the report, and you're able to modify the text behind that More Info button if you choose to. And when we get to the report, I'll show you where this information will display. And again, you have the option to change your short-term months in this area, as well as that text behind the More Info button. Same with the long-term analysis. So now we're coming to our report. And you'll notice that we have a new line item right here. It says Send Edge Report View to Alert Partner. This is because in the client, remember I went ahead and put an email address in there. So if you want your partner to be able to receive an Edge alert, you would mark that box there. And not only will you receive the alert, your partner will receive that alert as well. Also, we have the quote date field. Go ahead and click on the calendar and put in your date when this was created. So you'll be able to show that, and again, it displays on the report, and it's a good compliance piece. So now let's go ahead and let's preview our loan, our Edge report. So we're here showing them. I've seen a lot of lender paid versus the monthly MI compared. But if you do have it, single MI premium, that's definitely the way to go in comparing the different products here. So what I am doing, if you haven't done so already, to highlight, you can highlight a whole column, and what I'm doing is just left-clicking, and it will highlight that whole column. You also can do it on single fields. So say I want to show the interest rate. Just left-click on the interest rate. And what this is doing is when the borrower is viewing the report for the first time, you sort of want to be able to direct them on areas you want to be able to show them to stand out. So you also have your payments in this area here. You notice those double asterisks, and here's the text down here that goes with that double asterisk. So you have it. You'll be able to put in that payment notes right here. Also, if you have some other information you might want to be able to tell the borrower, you can also add it after that payment note in this section right here. So there's not a lot of space, but there is an area where you could put a little additional information. Now let's go into our More Info button. Our payment breakdown, you notice we do show all the payment breakdown of the taxes, hazard, and mortgage insurance. And you can see here which one does have mortgage insurance and which one doesn't. Again, you can highlight within here if you want to, or you could do it on the outside of the report. Now let's go to our closing cost details. What we do is total all the APR fees, non-APR fees, just like at the screen right in this area. And then you could click on the fee details and be able to see all the line items that you've keyed into those closing cost details. They'll be able to show you there as well as print on the report. Next, we have the reinvestment strategy screen. And it's great if you have used any of the features in the reinvestment strategy, you want to highlight it. So when they come into the screen, you can direct their attention of what you have done. If it's reducing their principal, you could go ahead and highlight those fields. In my particular case, I'm showing them that I'm reinvesting their money monthly amount in this area and how much it is at that end of 15-year period. If I click on the custom button, you'll see that, and starting with payment 1, we're applying an additional 60.63, which is the difference of the payment, and then we're applying the MI at cutoff plus that additional amount. Okay, I'm going to close out of this screen here. Now we're going to the monthly payment savings. Remember those last 3 screens where I said you could modify the text? This is where that text will print in each of those quadrants. And again, you'll have all the payment breakdown. If you have a second lien on your loan, this is also will be able to show the payment breakdown for your second lien in this area here. If you have a property appreciation, you'll notice that that's where the percentage will display, as well as if you have a tax bracket. Now let's go into the short-term savings over the 60-month period. This, to be able to show you what it is, a lot of people will take, like say 229, times it by 60 and expecting this to be that same number. And it's not. What we're doing here is showing the cost over time. So if we click on the More Info button, what we do is we're taking the interest and mortgage insurance. that has accrued over that 60-month period. Then we're adding the closing costs to that figure. With that, you get your total cost of the loan, your fees, as well as the interest. If you mark a fee as a prepaid escrow, it will not display in here because that's a recurring fee each year, or not fee, but an item each year, and it's not a fee and not a cost of getting a loan. It's just something you have to have having a loan. So you have your total cost, and then once we have that, we find out the highest payment, which is our FHA, and then we compare the difference in the totals and be able to show them the net savings. So, and that's a good way to, I always, when I send out reports to people, is highlight these areas here, because when they click on that more info button, if they're not understanding it, they could click on it and it could sort of guide them through the process of what that those graphs are displaying. And again, this is the area for that text in that second to last screen. Okay. And then let's go and finish up our last quadrant here, which again, it shows the home value, which is that appreciation rate that I showed you in the monthly payment screen over here. It also shows you the loan balance. You'll be able to say, be able to show the borrower how much at the end of 15 years that they still owe on the loan, how much equity that they have, how much total principal they paid from this point forward, and then the total of interest and MI also shows in this area. So with it, you'll be able to say definitely that single MI premium definitely is the way to go. It's keeping that same interest rate as it does with your monthly MI, but because you included it in the upfront as a fee and financed it in, that's where you're picking up the cost. So the interest rate stays low for the life of the loan, and you don't have that mortgage insurance. Lender paid MI, that because you have that higher rate takes through the full term. So a lot of people, look at that and, they don't have the monthly insurance, but they do have that increased rate. Okay, another thing I want to show you is the clear all button. It clears out all the highlights here. And then we do have the printed version that you'll be able to see. You have what we see on the screen here. Page 2, page 3, and then page 4 are all the details behind the more info button. And just as at this point, we don't have the reinvestment on that print copy, but we are working on getting it there for you. Okay, so we've gone through each of the product here. Now what you want to do, let's go back into Edge. We've reviewed that. Next piece you do is generate a link. And this is what you're going to want to be able to email out to your borrowers. This is what makes the, this is what, you put it in your email, do a copy, and then when the consumer goes ahead and clicks on it, that's what opens the report. If you make any modifications to this particular record, the link is always the same, so you don't have to resend them a link. They just click on what they have. Now let's go ahead, and this is how you go put an audio or video on. It brings up the report, just as we looked at before, and then you want to press record message. I'm going to go ahead and allow. Oh, it's a little off. Hi guys. So you have your message here. You definitely want to be able to have your webcam when you talk to creating your message. You want to look at the screen, introduce yourself, sort of keep it light. Again, introduce yourself, explain a little bit. Don't go into a lot of details. You'll be able to do that when you talk to them on the phone and use that Edge Live feature. So you'll be able to do it that way. And but it's a great tool, definitely, especially if you don't have any face-to-face time. It's a great way to introduce yourself to the consumer. So you just have the record button, the play, pausing, and then also if you want to remove your video, you can go ahead and press the trash can. That takes it off the report. And lastly, if you want to do audio only, we do have the choice here. You can go ahead and click on audio. Okay. Just one moment. I don't know why we don't have a timer recorder for the countdown, John, but I'll suggest it, but right now, basically, when I started, it just depends when you hit record. It takes a little time, but I'll suggest it. We'll see. Yes, if you do record multiple versions, it will record over your previous message, so it will be fine. Whatever's the last thing you record, that is what will show up in the report. So if you send the report out, you sent one message. If you made updates to the report, you could come back in and you could go ahead and press trash can, re-record, and then put a new message on so they'll be able to, you could tell them what those changes were and things like that. So yeah, definitely you can re-record over and have multiple or different messages each time they open the link. Okay, so also I want to be able to show you, I'm pressing my share button, an easy way to get that link also. And what I'm going to do is show you how to do Edge Live. And this is a great way to be able to communicate again with that consumer. So what I'm going to do is open up a new report by putting the link in here. This is just as if they clicked it. This is what the consumer will see. The difference between these two reports, let me just bring this over a little bit. Just one moment with. Just one moment, I'm almost there. Okay, so let's bring this report over, and then I can show you the differences between the two. So you'll be able to know which one is the consumer's copy and which one is the live copy. So quickly, the one way of doing it, you have the clear all button on yours. So if you do any kind of highlighting, you'll notice that the highlighting is on the consumer report. So when you're talking with them, you can drive the conversation while they're viewing that report and open the more info buttons, be able to talk to them about that aspect. Whatever you do in the system, you can also do a clear all. It will clear out all the highlights. And I should have hit the more info over here. And you'll see how my copy is driving the consumer's copy in this area. So let's go ahead and close that down. You'd be able to, besides the highlighting, you can click on all those more info buttons to be able to really drill down and help explain that loan to the consumer. But you see everything I do on the report is emulated on their report. And you can also go into Edge. If you wanted to change an interest rate, you could go ahead and make changes. You can add a product or take away a product, and the consumer will be able to see that live. As soon as you change the screen, advance it one way or another, it will update the report with that data. So you'll be able to, good way to work with it. If you have two screens, throw the link on one screen, and you could really work on how to perfect that being live. Okay. So that's the report. What I want to do now is let's go into, I want to show you one more thing, but we'll go into settings and we'll go through those templates. So one other thing I want to be able to show you is the review history. What we do here is we have a change log. So if you make any changes, it will tell you that time and date when you've made changes to the report. You also have a read receipt. So you'll be able to, if you've sent that link out, this is another way to be able to view and see how long a person has had your file open, as well as how many times. So you'll be able to have that information. That's the view history. Just to point that out, a lot of people don't see it down there. Clicking back at home, now I'm going to go into our settings. So in our settings, we have two tabs, our fee templates and our product templates. So let's click on the fee templates. And you'll see that I have my Q&A template that we just created here. You can now make any modifications to that template. So if I double click on it, I can change the name and correct my spelling. And then I can press OK. And that will update. I still spelled it wrong. Sorry, guys. And then you just can come in here and make any changes. So if I didn't want to be able to show my reserves, and be able to have it empty, so each time I go in, make sure I can update it with the correct amount. You could go ahead and do that. Say I need to add my processing fee, or if you want, you've created one template, you want to create another one, say for if this was a conventional, you want to create one for an FHA because the fees are slightly different, or something totally different. Instead of having to create the template all over, once you've done making any of the changes, like I did in these two areas, if you do save as, that's in the sense of our copy. So I could say QA2. Press OK. Now I have 2 templates in there. We have the one I had, and then I could go in and make any kind of changes that I need for that particular template. So then you'll have 2 templates. So this is a quick way of doing it. You could start the process. Sorry guys. You can start the process through your Edge account and save it, and then you can come in here and modify them and then do save as your copies and really create the feed templates rather quickly. If you don't want to see a particular feed template, say I want to go ahead and get rid of the one I just copied, you just press delete and it will remove it from your drop down. Sometimes people come in here and I see a lot of word new because they're unsure of how they were created. They just kept pressing save. You could just come in here and clean up all your templates. Okay, Eric, you said my fees are my ad fees available, they are lightened out. I'm not quite sure what you mean by lightened out. I don't know if it's just because it doesn't have a box. If you explain that a little more, I can try to drill into that a little bit. So now let's go check out our product templates over here. So we have our QA FHA template that we created. I'm going to go ahead and go in here. Personally, I always remove my interest rate because it seems to be quite variable. So you can always keep it in there. You always can override it if the rate change, whatever your preference is. So you go ahead and do that. In this particular case, I did do a 5% down, but say I want to just do the standard 3.5% down, you can go ahead and modify that here. I'm keeping my 15 days per diem interest. And then by marking it as the FHA, you'll notice that the from MIP and add to loan amount appears, and you can have that defaulted as well. If we go into our monthly costs, you can also default that mortgage insurance, so you don't have to key that in, and you're making sure that you get that MI cutoff, so they do have it for the life of the loan, as well as the MI factor, and having that box marked, calculate MI on the balance. So this is definitely create your templates for the FHA just to be able to have this information in there so you don't have to remember each time. And again, if you're in an area that you know your hazard insurance and property tax an estimated factor, if you key it in here, then it will go ahead and calculate for each loan. So I'm just going to clear out this information, put it back in. Having those when I come in, and again, by having these templates created, they're easy to do. Then when you use it, it makes your report so much quicker to be able to create in Edge. So let's put that in there. We're all set on my monthly costs. And closing costs, what you can do is you can either remove it and have no fees in here. Let me apply it to loan. And that way you can use the drop down and pick whatever fee template you have. But if you've created fee templates, you always know that I have an FHA template that I created. You could go ahead and put that fee template in, and it will come up when you pull up that product template, just like I did when I did that FHA loan. All my fees came over. It's because I tied my fee template to my product template. So go ahead and do that and apply it to loan, and it will go ahead and fill in those figures here. And again, just like the other products, you could go ahead and highlight and delete it if you don't want to see that particular product template created. Just one moment, let me just check the box. Okay, Eric, just email me at support and we can go ahead and check out the templates and see what's going on with those. So, okay. Also, while we're in here, I just want to go ahead and show you the report templates. For compliance purposes, we have the disclaimer information down here. If you're on an enterprise account, they probably have already filled this information out for you, and it's grayed out and locked down. Where this displays on the report is at the very base right here. And I just also want to point out to you that we do have a extended disclaimer. So if you want to be able to put more information in this area, some people put their corporate licensing addresses. You'll be able to do that. If you're on an enterprise account, you might already have information already filled out in this area and it's grayed out and you can't edit. But if you're on an individual account, this is the area where you can add additional disclaimer text to your reports. And again, if you're in here working, these are all those sidebar text that print out on the more info buttons in each of those quadrants that we see as we go through Edge, those last 3 screens. If you want to modify those, this is where you do it. And just remember, I'm on the total cost. If you modify anything in here, each report has its own templates, and you could go ahead and put it in here. Okay. Also, payment notes, I notice on the rent versus own. And I'm going to get that into the TCA also. This is great to be able to have the payment notes, so it already displays taxes and insurance are included in your payment, so you're not typing that each time. So you'll be able to default it in there. Some people go ahead and put in taxes and insurance are/are not included, and then when they go into Edge, they just modify that text accordingly and remove whichever it's not. Okay, just one moment. Another thing, let me go over to Home. I want to bring your attention to the Settings button, or to the Help button here. What this will do is take you out and bring you over to our support webpage. We have changed it in the last couple months. These are the Getting Started. If you're brand new to Edge, these are great videos just helping you be able to get started with Edge and walk you through. The Edge 101 is just a 40-minute course that really just covers all the basics, how to upload your photo, things like that. Then as you want to start creating reports, we do have video tutorials that will walk you through the steps on creating an Edge report. Also Edge Live, if you want to get more familiar with how to use that, we also have a video tutorial on that. And if you're advanced topics, we have more advanced topics here, different strategies. Or if you're, not quite sure which one to work on, like say if you have a question on mortgage insurance, you could put in MI or spell it out, press search. And what we'll do is show you any of our video tutorials of frequently asked questions that are associated with MI. So you could go ahead and just look on it and just see if any of those answers your question and be able to find information that way. Okay. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions before we move on? I know wanted to be able to use show up the iPad. Just a moment. I just got to get my iPad connected to our server if I could do that. And it's not going. Okay. Okay, well, I'll just say if it pops up, then once I get connected, then we'll go ahead and show that aspect. With the iPad or the Android, what will happen if your consumer clicks on the link to the report, and what will happen is it will go directly to the, a web page, brings it to the download app store. They just put in Mortgage Coach, and then it will go ahead and download, and they'll be able to open the report that way. And I apologize, for some reason I have no connectivity on my iPad, so I won't be able to show you that process. But with the iPad and the Android, and the same with all the phone aspect, it's just a viewer, and it's for the purpose of being able to have the consumer be able to not have to go to the desktop. They can look at the report right then and there. I've had people saying it's great because they travel, and it's a great communication piece for the consumer to get that information. You don't have to wait for them to get to a desktop or a computer on that way. So that definitely that mobile device will help out and work with you on that. Another place I want to go real quick to be able to show you, and if you have any yes, you definitely send them the link, and what will happen is the link will know if it's an iOS or a Droid device and automatically open in that format. And it is slightly different, and it actually is a quite nice format for them. So they can either do that if they click on the link on the desktop, it will open up in this format as well. So it goes pretty nicely. Be able to get the Edge views out there to all consumers. Okay, we also have on our Mortgage Coach webpage, I want to be able to show you these sources too for you to be able to use. The volume on the iPad, iPhone app is not working, Justice. Okay, Justice, I haven't heard that before, so I'm fine with my volume on mine, and I haven't heard anyone else. So if you can, if you email us at support@mortgagecoach.com, we'll be able to work with it more so and see what's going on with that. On our webpage, I want to be able to show you our community tab. We have an Edge Hall of Fame. What we have done here is have various types of reports with video or audio, and this is a great way of, if you're learning Edge and just curious on what you say or how other people are using that, using Edge to be able to either market or go directly to the consumer, you have some examples in this area here. We also have a quick reference guide if you want to be able to use that. It's just, different areas of Mortgage Coach. Same with our coaching calls on Tuesdays and our Q&A sessions on Thursdays. Coaching calls. If you're unable to attend on the Tuesdays, it's great. Just remember we have them all recorded and we post them in this area here. What we do is also post every Q&A at the top here, and we override that one each week. So you want to miss the 9 o'clock call, just come in here, click it, be able to view it that way. If you haven't signed up for the Tuesday calls, this is an area where you can go ahead and sign up, and you'll get your weekly reminders. When we have webinars, we post our webinars all on our page in this area, so you'll be able to look at all our past webinars that we've held. And then we also have a discussion board in this area here. And okay. Does anyone else have any questions? We're getting close to that 10 o'clock time and wrapping up. If you have any questions, we could go ahead and cover that right now. Lastly, also what I have too, look, there's our discussion board. If you haven't been able to download RateWatch yet due to admin, you can always log on to RateWatch through our website and be able to get information that way on how the rates are moving. But you're not going to receive the alerts and things through the online version. So you definitely want to get it downloaded. But in the meantime, you'll be able to access those rates and how they're moving through the login through our webpage. So you have that option too. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the call. If you have any questions at all, please email us at support@mortgagecoach.com. Send us the link. It's helpful for us to be able to view your question on the report. And if you need us to look at the data, just make sure you have it logged out of Edge, and then we could go ahead and let us know, and we could go ahead and view your data also if needed. Have a great day, a great week, and we'll see you next week, next Thursday, 9 o'clock. Have a good day.